Now, as Gaza faces a war of displacement, the strategic shift from retaliation to displacement raises urgent questions about the role of US support and its implications for regional stability. For all this, we're joined by Dr. Ashraf Singer, who is a world politics analyst for us here at Q News, and Ayman Al-Rakab, who is a professor of political science. Thank you very much, both of you, for joining us here on the program. Now, Dr. Singer, we'll start with you. How does the involvement of the US administration, particularly under President Trump, of course, influence Israel's tactics, do you think, especially when it's regarding displacement in Gaza?
It's clear that the United States is giving huge support to the Israeli government, particularly Benjamin Netanyahu. There is no change between Biden administration and Trump administration, but Trump did succeed to make that ceasefire for 2 months, but unfortunately, Israel back again has been working hard to removing any kind of agreement between Hamas and Israel, where in Doha, meeting they had that agreement. So for 3 phases. So it seems to me like United States it's still approving all the Israelis' operation in Gaza, particularly the one that is occurred like 5 days ago, where more than 400 Palestinians got killed without any reason that the people to pay the price of their life. Even though Hamas what you call it, is taking Gaza for a while, for a long time, and Hamas is responsible about their action with the people. So in Gaza, so this is a clear point. That is, the people shouldn't really be punished in Gaza by the negotiation or the action by Hamas. Even if Hamas is correct or is wrong, but the question now, it's really in the international community, why these people should be punished by the Israelis, defense or Department of Defense. And the Israeli defense minister is still, or has said, he had instructed the military to seize more ground in Gaza and, acquiring more territories in Gaza. And basically, Israel is waiting, 59 Israeli hostages. Of course, they still held in the devastated territory, but people in Gaza. This is my point. That is, we should raise that kind of concern. People in Gaza still, paying that price of that kind of conflict between Hamas and Israel, because the people, either women and children, are and were paying that price, and that price is very high because this is relevant to their life.
Okay, I'm going to bring Professor Al-Rakab in here now. When it comes to Israeli military strategy in Gaza, they talk of eliminating Hamas, but is the truth of the matter that they just want to eliminate Gaza?
Greetings to you. What we have seen after the breakdown of the truce and the Israeli occupation forces ending the ceasefire with the state on Tuesday and bombing Gaza in different areas, targeting civilians. With estimations by the United Nations, 750 martyrs have fallen since Tuesday, most of whom are from women and children. These are steps to eliminate Gaza. They do not have clear targets. They target the entire neighborhoods, which is very criminal, of course. When we have seen the explosion of the Sadaka hospital, a cancer hospital, which is the only hospital remaining, this bombing of a cancer hospital This cancer hospital was not very harmful to the occupation. They only wanted to eliminate any sort of life in Gaza, as President Sisi stated that the occupation is making Gaza uninhabitable. Um, Unfortunately, with the sponsorship of the United States of America destructing what's left of Gaza, and we have even seen in the ground offensives in Rafah and Netzarim, and ending with North Gaza, when they ask in the entire neighborhood to evacuate and using starvation as a weapon since the beginning of March, which proves that the occupation is using anti-humanitarian weapons to eliminate the Gaza population. We have seen statements from senior Israeli officials talking about a complete ground offensive in Gaza. He realizes that it's not only to the resistance or to Hamas, it's the entire Palestinian population.
And Dr. Dr. Singer, I'll bring you back in. In what ways do you think that Netanyahu and President Trump's policies are aligned? And how can the United States stand back and watch a cancer hospital be wiped out, as Professor Al-Rakab was just saying? I'll come back to you, Dr. Singer. I believe you didn't hear the question. Professor Al-Rakab was just saying about the tragic events of yesterday with the cancer hospital being wiped out. How can the United States stand back and allow this to happen? Dr. Singer. Okay, I'll come back to you, Professor Al-Rakab, because I think we're having a problem with the line with Dr. Singer there. What do you make of the US's policy when it comes to this? And the international community, you mentioned this tragic event yesterday, the cancer hospital being destroyed by Israel in this terrible strike. Why are the international community not up in arms and doing something about this?
The United States sponsored this war, and they are funding the Israeli occupation. The international community, with all institutions, stand helpless to respond to the situation, and we are witnessing the reformation of the international community. Now we only have 5 states with full membership in the Security Council, and the United States has used the veto more than once to counter any resolution that protects the Palestinian civilians. We have seen the bombings of several hospitals before. We have seen the Shifa hospital being destroyed, and the Auda hospital and others. The 22 hospitals were out of service, and only 7 hospitals were working with a partial capacity. They also used the starvation weapon to kill civilians, and this gives an example of the powerfulness of the international community standing helpless when Gallant was the ICG issued an arrest warrant for Gallant, and no one from the international community responded.
And Dr. Singer, I believe you're back with us now. In what world are hospitals legitimate targets?
Oh, this is really, it shouldn't be targeted at all. Israel really committed a war crime after Israel did claim that the Gaza's hospitals is a hub, or was a hub of the Hamas, but after different investigation, it wasn't. Or all of the hospitals, they were not. It seems to me like, Israel committed a very serious action to target civilians in Gaza, targeted, the Gazans inside hospital, outside hospital, schools, universities. So yeah, the Israel army unfortunately uh, made this operation in different scale, destroying every building was serving the Palestinian needs as a human being, as a civilian. Unfortunately, this type of war is very nasty. Never ever this type of war will serve either Israel interests or Palestinians' interests. It's a vicious cycle. We should really stop this type of conflict. It never give the Israelis or Palestinians their goal to establish two states, live beside each other. So it seems to me like now what is Netanyahu plan is completely against the international community, where France and Europe, or most of the major countries in Europe, they were and are not accepting that plan by Netanyahu to repeat this type of war crimes in Gaza. And yesterday, French president, denied and didn't really accept any kind of displacement of Palestinians out of Gaza, or this type of aggressive military operation against, like innocent people there. So one of the major problem now for plan of Netanyahu is how to survive as a politician, and unfortunately, one of that the problem is facing, like all of that kind of corruption cases in Israel, but taking, the worst decision just to pursue this type of nasty war against Palestinians will not serve his goal for long term, particularly in the families of the hostages. Will never really admit any type of operations in Gaza.
Yeah, let me just bring Professor in on that, Professor Al-Rakab, on this particular point. How important is this war for Netanyahu maintaining his position?
We have followed up during the past period the Netanyahu crisis with the Shanak Bar and challenging the opposition, and most important, which the ICJ that frozen the court's decision to freeze the Netanyahu decision, which led Netanyahu to wage this attack on Gaza in exchange for forming an alliance with Ben Gvir once again to be the Minister of National Security and to pass the budget by the end of March. Netanyahu is supposed to leave by November 2026. He wants to continue in his office till the new round of elections. Going back to war maintains Netanyahu in his office. And let's go back to before the October 7th events. There were tensions between the court and the Netanyahu government, who wanted to end the deep state and to reform everything in Israel, in the Israeli state. He was even described by being the biggest dictator in the region. Back to the point of waging a war on Gaza or Lebanon, he realizes that the Israeli community is unified when there is an external enemy. But if there is peace, this united position will be deteriorated. He once wages a war on Iraq, on Iran, and of course on Palestinians, as always. That's why he.
Okay, and Dr. Singer, I know you're a very close watcher of US politics. How does this new administration under Trump differ from the Biden administration? Is there a massive difference?
There is a little difference. Both of them agreed to support Israel under any circumstances. So basically, what happened in October 7, 2023, of course, shocked the world and shocked the U.S., of course. Basically, no one can really, at that time, expect that Hamas can really capture and kill civilians. Of course, we understand that the Israeli government, since establishment of Israel, had been killed, like all the civilians. It doesn't matter or didn't matter. But that action by Hamas didn't really accepted by all over the world. But the question, that action by Hamas really made kind of consequences, to kill, more of Palestinians, and which now almost like 60,000 Palestinians got killed, most of them women and children.
Yeah.
So the question now for the future, what's really the major difference, between Trump and Biden? Trump really needs to make peace, but under condition of the U.S. and Israel, condition. This is the kind of the condition.
Okay.
We really need to fight the Israelis' argument rather than the Palestinian argument.
I think we got your point now. I'm sorry to cut you off, Dr. Singer, but we're just out of time. But you did say there that there was a small difference, I guess, between the two. Dr. Ashraf Singer, world politics analyst for us here at Qnews, and Professor Ayman Al-Rakab, Professor of Political Science. Thank you, both of you,